Oddly enough, this episode convinced me that if people try to remake the show, it could totally go the way of the Netflix live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender. That would not be a good thing. Welcome to episode 8 of my retrospective on Witch. If this is the first of these videos you've seen, there's a link to the full playlist for the series in the card and description. Episode 8, Ambush at Taurus Finley, is one of the better episodes so far. Dare I say it, the only thing I think it was missing was more action to up the tension. Action I could have sworn was in this episode based on my memories, but not really. Also more comedy. But enough vague talk, let's actually get into the show. As always, we start the episode on Meridian, but not with the villains. Instead, we see Caleb leading a variety of attacks on Phobos' food supplies.
Down with Phobos and with tyranny!
Hey, I work for Phobos and Taranee. The show always gets so dire when we return to Meridian. I wish we could be here more. As it turns out, Caleb has been splitting his time between Earth and Meridian using portals and playing Blanc to show them to him before the girls can find them so he can go back and forth. This episode really plays into the more Revolutionary War aspect of the show so far. The difficulty of fighting both the Guardians and the Rebels, who are engaging in espionage and guerrilla tactics against their superior opponents, is what spurs the villains to act. Seeing more of Caleb as the rebel leader is good. Doesn't change the fact that they still let the 16-year-old be in charge, but you know what? Considering he's Cornelia's love interest, thank God he isn't older. I suppose 16 is as old as they felt they needed him to be to convince the target audience he's totally old enough to lead a rebellion, while keeping him within Cornelia's age range, which I will assume is 14. Yes, I could look it up, but I don't want to. Unfortunately for our dear rebel leader, the girls catch him. His appeal to give children chocolate does not win them over. You know, he could stay in Meridian. He's supposed to be on Earth searching for the heir to the throne, but he's done literally nothing to that end. As it is, he's more of a Meridian expert and assistant for the Guardians. Once more, we get an emphasis on the character's different priorities. Caleb is helping the Guardians in hopes of furthering his rebellion, but the Guardians' job is to keep Phobos from exerting influence onto Earth, which involves keeping the world separate. Portals that remain open for too long tend to involve monsters walking through. Not that they don't care for freeing Meridian from Phobos, but their job is literally antithetical to Caleb's ability to both help them and lead his army. Caleb's technically already prioritized helping the Guardians over directly leading his army, but he clearly wishes to be able to do both. I honestly wish this conflict got more focus, it's gold. Meanwhile, Phobos and Cedric are not happy with how the rebels always seem to know where their supplies are going to pass through in order to set traps, and they suspect that a spy is providing them with information. And then, Cedric has a brilliant idea. Spread a rumor of the discovery of the location of something the rebels would absolutely try to get their hands on. And Phobos knows exactly what to use as bait so that Caleb won't be able to help but bite. The Seal of Phobos. Why is his name on it? Never explained, but I'm going to assume he's named after the same Phobos the seal is named after.
What's this?
Ice cream cone. You unwrap the paper and eat it.
This isn't too bad, but it made a real mess on my shoes.
Truly, a man to be feared. They tell the captain of the guard and some of the grunts about this supposed discovery and tell them that this is meant to be kept a secret that no one should hear. By the end of the day, everyone's talking about it. Okay, I love that. The captain of the guard has a really detailed design for a character I have literally zero memory of. Meridian's so fun. I mean, not for the people who live there, obviously, but for the audience. The whole rebellion plotline is just such a great source of conflict, and honestly I think it's what the writers are more comfortable writing. As for the Earth plot, Hay Lin has signed the girls up for a play on drama nights. They are less than enthused about the idea. Why did she do this, you may ask? Because Hay Lin wants to design the costumes. Wait a second. Fashion designer of Asian descent, blue hair and twin tails, has more access to the old wise person who tells them everything than everyone else. Marinette, did you sneak into the show when I wasn't looking? Actually, this show is older. Hay Lin, did you sneak out of this show? Was it because it was cancelled? If so, well then, congratulations on your success with the new property. The theme for the play is mythology, so Hay Lin asks her grandmother for a myth. The writers choose to use this as an opportunity for some exposition and to tell us the myth of the creation of the Guardian's powers. Though considering the source, it'd probably be more accurate to describe it as the story of the Guardian's powers. It's a tale of a cruel emperor and the 4 dragons who used their powers to save the kingdom from a famine. Angered by the dragons' use of their powers without his permission, the emperor had them imprisoned. His daughter, shocked by her father's callousness, chooses to join the dragons, transforming into one herself and leaving behind a crystal amulet, the Heart of Kandrakar. Okay, I'm not clear how this fits into the lore we'll learn in season 2, but that's season 2's problem. And so the girls get to work preparing for their play. And Blanc gets to play a dragon because they don't have enough people, with Cornelia playing the nymph and Taranee playing the narrator.
You cannot put this face under a dragon mask.
Corny, do you realize how this play ends? And speaking of looking good, it's time for the special edition of Outfit Rankings, Play Edition. Taranee doesn't have a new outfit, so she is not included. As always, from worst to best, Irma, Will, Hay Lin, Blanc, Irma and Will in painting overalls, and Cornelia. So this is what it takes for Cornelia to win one of these. Everyone else dressing as giant lizards. Caleb, meanwhile, is feeling frustrated about not being able to portal between worlds. Conveniently, Blanc, who I guess is still portaling in his free time, has some information for him about the discovery of the seal of Phobos. Oddly, I like the way Blanc is drawn and animated here. Caleb is nice enough to explain the seal in detail. It's basically a universal key that can open anything. Doors, books, holes in the veil. It's exactly what Caleb wants. We also learned that it was stolen 12 years ago by the woman who escaped with the true heir to the throne, using it to open a portal to Earth. Unseen by everyone but the audience is the fact that it was knocked into a drain. So Caleb decides to go to Taurus Finley to get the seal. A seal that opens things. You know, Caleb's decision to come here by himself just reinforces my suspicion that he kind of has no idea how to delegate. So it's the night of the play and the girls are getting ready, before Hay Lin shows up to tell them that Caleb is in danger. Unlike every other time though, we actually get an explanation as to how she knows. He left a note. Hay Lin then points out something really obvious. If the seal had been found, Phobos would not wait 3 days to go get it. It's clearly a trap. And when we get to that trap, the episode gets a bit shaky. Caleb, somehow completely unaware that the old man he's following is a barely disguised Cedric, gets led to a magic quicksand pit he quickly sinks into. A sand pit that didn't even try to grab Cedric, who definitely walked over it. And as we'll see later, you don't even need to physically make contact with it for it to try to grab you. Cedric leaves Caleb to be consumed, planning to go look for the traitor he now knows exists.
We can't walk out on our own clay. We'll get expelled.
They can expel you for that? Hay Lin then gives them a solution. If Will says the words Spored Lartsa, she'll create astral drops, identical doppelgangers that can take their place. To dispel them, you just say the summoning words backwards. Astral drops. Unfortunately, the astral drops don't have all their memories and don't know the play.
So the 4 dragons brought rain to the people.
No, the fake confetti rain.
They are also a bit special in the head. So, as I go over the rest of the episode, keep in mind that there's a play with surprisingly high production value on Earth that's being absolutely ruined.
Took pity on the starving peasants.
Look at the poor peasants and their horrible, ugly clothes.
So the girls find the portal and transform. Once they get to Taurus Finley, they find a village. Who would live near this thing? So the sand pit is alive. Not as alive as it will be in season 2, but it moves and grabs people. Because of course it does. It wouldn't be Meridian if it wasn't excessively dangerous. Okay, so they just rescued Will from being pulled into the mysterious sand. Why did they immediately pose like this? You think someone's gonna put you in an edit? After getting some info from some kids, the girls decide to go in while holding on to vines that immediately get snapped because of course they do. Not a great plan. Inside is just pure nightmare fuel. Pillars of sand with petrified screaming people attached, with the only living person being the latest addition. A very apologetic Caleb. As they try to carry him to safety, the sand immediately starts attacking and capturing them. And then the episode lost me. Now the build up to this moment is great. This mysterious moving sand pit that grabs people, and the imagery is appropriately horrifying. And then it starts actively attacking the heroes. The tension is at an all-time high. Then I guess everything changes when the Fire Nation attack because Taranee's fire is too strong for the sand and it immediately becomes a non-issue. How much of a non-issue is it? They are able to unfreeze and save the previous petrification victims.
Michael, you're okay. Did you get our ball?
I feel like calling it a fight would do a disservice to actual fights because the sandpit may as well not even be alive anymore. Though I suppose this is largely because there's only 3 minutes left in the runtime. Once everyone's safe from the sand, there's an honestly cool moment where Irma and Taranee combine their powers to glass it. I swear I remember this exact moment being more exciting than it actually is, so I guess that means it works for the target audience. Maybe I was just amazed at learning how glass was made. So Caleb's alive, the people are saved, and the girls get in trouble for how hard their doubles messed up the play. Meanwhile, the villains are discussing the discovery of the traitor's existence, and Cedric asks to know everyone who left the castle the previous day, not knowing he's right next to the grate the seal of Phobos fell into. This episode probably has less writing flaws than the last 3 I talked about, yet it's the one I probably wouldn't rewatch as much as the others. Oh, there are things to rewatch for. Phobos and Cedric's plans, the legend of the Guardian's powers, the whole rebellion actually doing some rebelling. But the episode sort of feels like it loses steam as it goes forward, especially in the 3rd act. Sandpit's first appearance as the bad guy starts out so dire. Then Taranee, who basically has no presence in the episode before this moment, hits it with a few fireballs and the issue is solved. It just strikes me as anticlimactic. With that being said, the main villains are definitely the best part of the episode. I do not care much for the Earth plotlines, especially if they feel like they are sapping the Meridian plotlines of the necessary screen time they need to really flesh themselves out. What did you think of this episode? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and good day.